This is Eric Johnson, the brand.
And Aaron Thigpen, the source.
Welcome to our podcast today. We're talking about travel teams in any sport and the misinformation about what travel teams are about. Travel teams about we're going to win a trophy and, the best players in the area, or is it about player development and, players are going to grow and get better, and through that training, they're going to work together as a team, and, guys are getting trained, and guys, if they're getting trained, they're going to perform better. Or is it about just getting a group of guys together every weekend and saying, let's go play, win this trophy, or let's just go play? So there's a lot of misinformation, Aaron, out there about travel teams in all capacities in sports. And today, I thought it'd be a good time to really talk about this information out there.
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, I've kind of seen, the evolution of travel teams. When I first got into this business, 26, 27 years ago, you could count all the travel teams in this area on one hand and not even use all your fingers. Now there's been an explosion or a proliferation of travel teams over the years, but I think now it's also shrinking a little bit. Some haven't necessarily made the cut and survived, but I see kind of two distinct types of travel teams. Mm-hmm. There's the travel team that's kind of more showcase focused or tournament winning focused.
Right.
And then there's those who are more developmental. And not to say that each organization or each travel team doesn't have either one or both of those aspects in it, but some tend to skew to one side or the other. And as a parent and athlete, I think it's important that you understand which type of organization you're getting yourself involved in.
Right.
And one might be better suited for your kid at one point than another. Right. Maybe early on it's more development, then later on it's more showcase oriented as you're getting closer, or vice versa. But I'm sure you've been deep into this for years. So I know you've got some thoughts and opinions, but from the outside looking in, that's kind of where I'm beginning.
Right, that's where you're beginning. It's a good starting point, Aaron, because over the years, and I've been in this for a lot of years. Same amount of years you have, 25, 26 years of watching, whether it's baseball, basketball, volleyball, different sports, and watching how they accumulate athletes to their club or to their squad. And I think a point you make is that there's a time and a place for everything. I think that's where I like to tell parents, there's a time and place for everything. There needs to be a nice equal balance in that in a player's development in any sport. And I think a lot of times, I see a lot of kids at a young age, 8, 9, 10, burn out at an early age because it was so competitive, and it seemed like every Saturday or Sunday or a 3-day weekend, it was either, we're gonna, if we don't do well, we're not successful.
Right.
And they don't understand their goals during those times. And I see a lot of kids getting turned off by sports.
Yeah.
Because it was so competitive early, and we lose a lot of athletes because their love for the game or their love or passion to play a sport. And that's where I've seen the biggest kind of evolution with these athletes now, is that it was so competitive early that they've lost their love for the sport or their thirst to train and become better. So my perspective, my starting point is there, Aaron, is the love of the sport, and the game is lost because it's so out of whack of what early development needs to be for that athlete.
Right. That's a good point. Without the passion, you're not going to necessarily have the growth.
Right.
And then it's just kind of maybe a check-in mentality that you see athletes go through. And I see it here too. I get kids who are 16, 17 years old, and they've been playing the sport competitively since they were 7 or 8,
right.
and they're burnt out. And it's kind of like, well, do I really want to continue this and go for this scholarship?
Right.
Because that's kind of what I've been doing all these years.
Right.
But now I'm not really tasting this flavor anymore,
Right.
And I see the kind of the predicament that they find themselves in, and the expectations of the parents and people around them, because that's kind of been their identity
right.
for a long time, and they have a hard time navigating that. So, I agree. I think I'm a competitive guy, so I'm never going to say...
Two of us are. We both are. We're both
yeah.
competitive. No question.
To me, competition is healthy, but also healthy competition is what you want.
Right.
And so I think that if the win is the only carrot you're putting in front of your athlete,
right,
that is going to lead you down the wrong road.
Right.
I think that can be part of the carrot that's out there, but also what should be on the end of that stick should be, hey, meeting your own personal challenges, and seeing your own personal growth, and being able to appreciate the experiences that sport will bring you. And I think those are the things that need to be fostered early on and set as, hey, this is what we want you to get out of this.
Right.
And now you have an athlete who's going to enjoy that journey, wherever it ends.
Right. I've seen, being involved with USA Baseball and being an ex-Major League player and all that stuff, it's come full circle. I've seen it at the youth level, and I've seen it at the professional level, at the highest level. And I see these young people and athletes being so engaged and just winning so early. And like you say, you can dangle the carrot in front of them. And I think there's a balance there needs to be there for them. So I always tell parents, out there is that, you have a young athlete that is playing competitively. Make it to where it's not every weekend. Make it to where it's like, okay, once a month or every 6 weeks, we're going to go out and participate in this. So there's a kind of a hunger there.
Yeah.
So it's special. It's a special occasion.
Right.
Not where, okay, I'm going to put on this nice uniform and go do this, and we're going to do this every weekend. I think that works against these athletes at any level, up to, I like to say, up to 13, 14, to be honest with you. Yeah. I think there needs to be that balance to where they go out and they're looking forward to playing, and they're looking forward with the group of guys they've been practicing with,
right,
and maybe training with, to come together for a common goal. That really, if I have a kid, I want to put them in that environment of growth and development, and there's that carrot, which is winning. Oh, we accomplished this together,
right? And
they learn how to be a team, and you learn how to be a good teammate on all accords.
Right. And so, one thing that I think all the time is, and I talk to the parents, and it could be a variety of different sports, and they always seem to have to make this decision between development and showcase.
Right.
And how can you navigate that? And also, playing on multiple teams.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on that? So they're trying to get something from all of these different organizations, or they're getting the same thing from three different organizations. Right. And it doesn't really seem to work for them. They still end up in the same place.
Well, I say this, Aaron, to all the parents out there listening, all the players, is that it's like, kind of like you've got all these like, oh, showcase, do I go here? Or let me go play on this team, or let me go do that. And what happens is the athletes and they lose focus of what their real goal is.
Yeah.
What is my real goal? My real goal is to keep on getting better on a yearly basis, keep on developing skills and activities, and develop my mind and my body to keep growing so I can get to that next level. And that's lost when you start taking these athletes all over, playing on this team, and it just becomes this big, just like garbage can. There's so much trash in there that you don't know what to, like, what do I choose? What do I have? And then that's where athletes either get hurt or things don't turn out the way their expectations change, and there's no focus on what they're trying to do with their end goals. So, for me, it's like, be happy where you're at, what you're trying to accomplish, and know what your goal is, number one. Number two, put your athlete in a position where they can succeed and grow mentally and physically. Three, have fun. Have fun at competing. Have fun at it. Number four, be passionate about what you're doing. And when you see your athlete not being passionate, you need to take a step back. That's when you need to parent and say, hey, listen, let's just take a step back here and take a break or get where we need to be. And if you do those things, then you're moving in what I think is the correct direction in your development.
Well, and we've talked about this a little bit before, so let's kind of recap or go over again how parents and athletes should qualify their potential teams or organizations that they're interested in joining. And again, it can be basketball, it can be soccer,
it can be any organization. Any sport, Aaron. One is that get with the organization that has some goals, and they're really trying to develop the athlete not only mentally but physically, and their goal is not a win at all cost.
And so how would they find that out? Because some of them have websites, some of them don't. What would you suggest that talk with other people, give the organization a call, maybe scout them out a little bit versus just, hey, showing up, doing a tryout. Right. Because everyone puts on their best face on those tryouts to recruit your kid for their club. But maybe scouting them out might be an option, and watching some of their games from afar and how they're handling themselves.
I think you said all of them.
Yeah.
Like you said, scout them out, talk to the organizer, talk to other parents, scout them from afar, go watch their practice. Go watch a game. Go see what they act. Watch their coaches, how they interact with the kids. How do they talk to them? How do they handle when things are good and how things are bad? And talk to the kid. Have your kid go talk to one of the kids and say, hey, how do you like playing here? Or being in this environment? I think those are really things that should be done with any organization. And that's how you find out if there's a fit for you or not a fit. So those are some really good tips there, Aaron.
Really good. Yeah.
Okay, Aaron, I think that wraps it up with some of the things that we talked about, the information with travel teams in any sports. And parents, make good decisions out there, and make sure your kids are passionate and they love the game, and that they're growing not only physically but mentally in their growth as a person in their development.
Couldn't have said it better.
All right, this is EJ, the brand.
And Aaron Thigpen, the source.
We'll check you out later.
See ya.